From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and it is time for the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. And man, we have ourselves an awesome weekend that we just had in the NFL, in the MLB, and in college football as well too. And it's just getting more and more exciting by the week because we're at that point of the year where you got the beginning of football, the end of baseball, and everything is just a straight up sports nirvana. Because then what else do you have coming? You got basketball coming as well too, and then you know that boxing has kind of had a revival year with having some of their best fights that they've had in the last few decades. So we're having a great sports year here in 2023, and let's go ahead and continue talking about all these great sports that we talk about on a daily basis here on the Primetime Angles. And up first, let's go ahead and get into the boat report. The boat report. We have the Chargers dropping to 0-2. Chargers lose 27-24 in OT at Titans. Now are 0-2 to start the season. What needs to be fixed to get back on track? Now, pretty much yesterday, the Chargers opened up with a 14-point lead. Okay, they were up 14-0. And within, say, about 2 drives for the Titans, it was 14-10. Okay. And pretty much what happened was that the Chargers did exactly what they've been doing like every single week for like the last 15 years. Playing a game where they look great and then playing a game where they look absolutely garbage. And I truly feel like it's like, where do we go from here? It seems every coach over the last 2 decades for this team has the same outcome every single year, where you have a team that plays their absolute best and then they can play their absolute worst all in one game. They can be a team that wins one week, then loses the next week, win 2 in a row, then lose 2 in a row. That's been the story of the Chargers. This is the only team I know that is like literally living to be 8-8, or now 8-9 or 9-8. That's the new number for it now. But yesterday, what happened in that game, Herbert played lights out again. That's my biggest problem. Herbert played excellent. Herbert has no turnovers over the first 2 games of the season. He's the second highest paid quarterback in football. He hasn't had the same issues as the highest paid quarterback in football, who literally is not even putting points on the board right now. So you have a defense that just decides to really not step up to the plate when it's time to step up to the plate. You have guys who are supposed to be leaders making boneheaded plays. Derwin James, unnecessary roughness yesterday with the head-to-head hit that he had. You had some good moments yesterday from the front seven, who had 5 sacks in the game yesterday. How do you lose this game? It's because what happened in the final minute of the game. When the Chargers were driving to try to get the lead, they settled for a field goal literally on purpose. Herbert designated them all. He got them all the way to the 5. He was chewing up that drive. The drive should have ended in a touchdown. They were at 55 seconds. They looked over to Mike Vrabel to call a timeout. He's not going to call a timeout for you. He's from the school of Belichick. He knows if he has the lead, just keep the clock running. It's not on me to stop the clock. It's on you to stop the clock. And I felt like the Chargers were not playing to win. You have to use all 3 of your timeouts up so you can give yourself as much time as possible to win this game. Not to tie the game, win the game. And that was the only way you were going to win yesterday. You had to win the game. You couldn't play for the tie. And you played too damn good to play for the tie yesterday anyway. And you still went ahead and did it. And it seems like this has been Brandon Staley's career. And I just really feel like if he would have been with any other organization that is built up a Super Bowl winner, he would have already lost his job. Straight up. And Kellen Moore is not a great offensive coordinator. You're calling running plays when you need to call pass plays. You're calling pass plays when you need to call running plays. And he gave them no opportunity to really score a touchdown on that drive. It was absolutely pathetic what happened to a Chargers team that looked like a well-oiled machine throughout the whole game on the offensive end. And then they looked like the Little Giants at the end of the game. It was pathetic. And I think that they truly need to sit down with Coach this week and let Coach know this is unacceptable. You cannot keep losing games like this. 2 weeks in a row, you've lost games by less than 3 points. It's just absolutely pathetic. And I feel like the Chargers may need to make a change already in the season. I know it's really early in the year, but I feel like they have to possibly make a change at the head coach position or possibly fire the offensive coordinator as well too, because the offense is playing really good and they're doing well, but they're not moving like they did last year, in my opinion. I feel like they're not clutch at all, and they're trying to be a team that they're truly not. Yeah, they got some good running backs, but they don't have the bell cows, and that's where they have their issues at. They have versatile running backs. Now, if they had LaDainian Tomlinson type or old Ronnie Harmon type, they would be fine. But to me, there's just a lot of things that the Chargers have to fix internally. And it's not that they're that far away. They've lost these games by a few points. They could be 2-0 right now. They're the only team I know that could possibly snap out of this 0-2 situation and still win their division. They're in okay shape because the Chiefs are 1-1. Okay, the Raiders are 1-1, but nobody's worried about the Raiders. And the Broncos is actually a good thing for you right now. They're 0-2. Okay, so there's a lot of things that are still in good favor for the Chargers, but the biggest problem right now is they have to come together as a full unit. They need the best from their offense and the best from their defense and the best from their special teams. And they need to have a true leader, not just somebody on the sideline holding a clipboard. They need a leader who's going to get them home, who's going to make the necessary calls to win football games, not go off the script that he's been handed. Don't be a robot, coach. Don't be a robot. All right. So with that, we're going to go ahead and move forward, and we will get into our previews for Monday Night Football. And up first is the Monday Night Football game on ESPN, and we have the Saints and the Panthers going at it. Saints coming in here 1-0. Panthers are 0-1. We got a +3 spread over under a 39.5 coming into this game. And both teams really are, going in two different directions. The Saints are seen as the favorite to win the NFC South, while you have the Panthers, who are a work in progress right now. But they seem to have probably the best rookie in the NFL in Bryce Young. I know it probably wasn't seen like that last week, but as the season goes along, we will see a much better quarterback moving forward from Bryce Young. Bryce Young is a certified baller, and he's going to make sure that he proves his point. He's a humble kid. He knows how to learn, and that's what the best thing is. He's accountable as well, too, and this is everything that you need to be a great player in the NFL. Derek Carr, a guy who gives the Saints the leader that they were hoping for after the Breeze era, and Jameis Winston, but Jameis Winston's still there as well, too. Now, Derek Carr did have a great week last week. He threw for 305 last week, had a touchdown as well, too. He really was, a bright spot for this New Orleans team that's looking to get back into the elite status of the NFL. But this team still has a lot of flaws, and we already know Carolina has a lot of flaws coming into the game as well too. In a wide open NFC South, this is a divisional game, and this game is very important. It's a prioritized game because at the end of the day, this could be the difference between winning a division and losing a division. And it doesn't get much better for the Saints because they are going to hostile territory. When was the last time they won in Carolina? That's my question. And they've had a house of horrors in Carolina plenty of times, especially last season and the season before, where they were only yielded 3 points. So this Carolina team is coming in here with a big confidence in themselves that they can win this game, even though they were very bad last week in Atlanta, losing 24-10. That game got a little besides them. Let's keep it real. They had a few turnovers in that game that were at a point in time that you can't get turnovers in a game. And it was the opening week. And also, this team struggled throughout the preseason as well, too. So they're just trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And I feel like with this extra day that they should be able to figure some things out. You're on Monday Night Football. You're going to probably dumb down the playbook a little bit to simplify things for your quarterback and for your younger players that are already a part of the unit. So I truly do feel that this one can wind up being a much better game than a lot of people assume it will be. And I truly do think that this game winds up being an upset tonight with the Panthers continuing their win streak over the Saints in Carolina. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out, and we'll move forward from there. We have ourselves our next game up, which is going to be the Monday Night Football game on ABC tonight, the OG network for Monday Night Football. And we have an OG Monday Night Football matchup as well, too, the oldest rivalry in the AFC, and that's between the Steelers and the Browns. And I know I've grown up knee deep in this rivalry, all those years of being clowned by Steelers fans and everything like that. It's humbling, and this is one of those you don't like each other type rivalries. You know what I mean? When it's Steelers Brown Day, it's going to be a whole lot of back and forth. You know what I mean? Between the orange and the black. You know what I mean? So it's going to be it's a lot of fun. It's always a matchup that brings out the history and traditions of pro sports, the NFL, all that good stuff. So tonight we have another version of it, and we know last year they split. The Browns got a really good win last year, early in the year on primetime TV, actually on TNF, one of the first games on Prime. They did wind up beating the Steelers and getting themselves a great win. And it looked like the Browns were moving to, some higher places at that point because the way they beat them up. And so we got to the end of the season, and the Browns were in the shape that they're usually in, but they still had a decent record. It wasn't like anything like 2-13, but they were out of the playoffs by then. And then they played the Steelers and actually lost. And what's new? They've lost every single time in Pittsburgh since 2003. They haven't won there in 20 years. Last time they did win, though, they won 33-13. It was a Sunday Night Football game, and it was absolutely a nirvana of a game because you thought that it was going to be the changing of the guard at that time and wound up not even being close to being the changing of the guard. I think the Steelers absolutely shredded the Browns for about a good 5-6 years after that because you have to understand this is when a guy by the name of Ben Roethlisberger arrived. So, that's where you pretty much have that hang up at as well, too. So there's a lot of things that go into the history of the Browns and the Steelers, but we know that the Browns have a difficult time playing in Pittsburgh. They truly do. Like, they probably have won twice in Pittsburgh in the last 40 years. And I can name, well, that's regular season. They've won 3 times in Pittsburgh in the last 40 years, okay? And then they've won once in the playoff game. So it's been tough to beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. It's just been an uphill battle. It's just something that is just formality, it seems like, for the Steelers, that beating the Browns in Pittsburgh, that's going to happen. And the Browns have to figure out how to break this little streak right here. This is a significant streak because everybody has mentioned it, because it gives everybody the idea that tonight the Steelers are a live dog, which they truly are. And we know, if you know sports betting, there's no possible way the Steelers should be the dog at home against the Browns. They've beaten them 20 times in a row. But the thing is, the Steelers aren't coming in here with a regular Steelers team, and they're coming in here with players that are very important to the scheme who are not going to be playing tonight. So that's why the Steelers are a low doggy dog, but they're a small dog for a reason, because in reality, a lot of the odds makers, if they didn't have the one-sided situation they had going with the Browns, they might have made this a 4.5 to the Browns, because the Browns looked that good on opening day. They beat the team that was in the AFC Championship the last 2 years and won the AFC Championship back in 2021. So they have the group that can push them forward to higher places, but they have to get out the little things like this first. They have to get over the fact that the Steelers own them in Pittsburgh. They have to get over the fact that Pittsburgh has been that much more successful than them over the last 30 years as well, too. 2 Super Bowls to none. And the Steelers been to 4 or 5 of them as well, too. So those are the things you put into fruition, and you really look at this and say to yourself, hey, this is going to be one of the better games of the week, because this is a crossroads game. Is this going to be the new era of the Cleveland Browns where success has returned to the city of Cleveland? Or will this still be the same old song where the Pittsburgh Steelers play the Cleveland Browns? They need to get themselves back into the win column. And guess what? They get themselves back into the win column with the one-sided victory over the Browns. That's how it's been. And when you go to Pittsburgh, it's always a house of horrors. I've never seen Pittsburgh have to really go in there and really have to ever have a game where they had to really claw and fight with the Browns in Pittsburgh to win the game. So the Browns have a lot going against them tonight, but I'm going to be in the business of breaking some streaks. And I think the Browns absolutely destroy the Steelers tonight, because they want to send a message. They got the quarterback. They got the running back. Amari Cooper's probably going to be a scratch tonight, but they got some wide receivers over there as well, too. And they have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. But the thing that makes the Browns really look good and really look great, the defense, and not just the defense, the secondary, something that's always the Browns' absolute worst unit every year, period. And this year, they're the best unit on the defensive side. So it makes life that much easier for their front seven. This is an incredible team, but tonight will be a proving point for this team as well, too, that have they arrived, or is this just some more talk early in the season? We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. Let's go ahead and talk about the college football top 25 right now. In college football top 25, we have ourselves some pretty good we got a pretty good top team in Georgia, because they're 2-time defending national champions, but we have ourselves a very messed up way of voting into the top 10. Let's say this: Ohio State is not number 6 in the nation, and USC is not number 5 in the nation in reality. This is why rankings really don't matter, okay? And when you look at them, you can tell they're playing favorites right now. They got Florida State all the way back up, number 3. Florida State beat Boston College by 2 points, dog. Come on. Michigan's up there at number 2. Michigan lost to TCU in the Final Four last year. They played some pretty good games, but who did they play to really say that they're the number 2 team in the nation? Nobody. Let's keep it real. Then you have, I'm I'm looking at it now. I'm trying to make sure I'm over here trying to memorize stuff. Let me look at it fully. But yeah, you have Ohio State number 6. You have Michigan number 2. Texas at number 3. Understandable with Texas at number 3 because Texas beat Alabama. But wouldn't you put Texas at number 2 or number 2 or possibly number 1 because they've beaten better teams than Georgia? Who did Georgia beat? Let's keep it real. They just had a tough one against South Carolina, but Texas had a tough one against Wyoming. Ohio State hasn't had one tough game this season. So why are they number 6 when they have a defense that's only given up 13 points, I think? So what's the deal? Like, why are we doing this year? Oregon, number 10 in the nation. They're much better than that. Let's keep it real. The team has scored 174 points. Notre Dame is a top 5 team. What are they doing number 9? Washington is better than Penn State. Like, the list goes on and on. And Washington may be better than USC right now. They may be better than Texas as well, too. That's why it's like this top 10 is a little murky, in my opinion. But you can see the love that they're giving to the Pac-12 right now because of who's in the Pac-12 right now, Caleb Williams. So they want to make sure that they give him this aura of invincibility that he's beating up on all these top 10 teams. Because look at it, you got SC number 5. Then you have Washington number 8. You have Oregon number 10. You have Utah number 11. So that means that their top 4 teams are all in the top 11. That's not necessarily true, right? When it comes to the Pac-12. Pac-12 is a conference that's about to be over with. You have LSU, who just came off of a monster beatdown of a very good Mississippi State team, and they're at number 12 right now. Alabama, it's understandable. Alabama is fallen once again in the in the rankings. They're now 13th after being 10th last week because that South Florida game left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. But at the same time, too, though, it's Alabama. So it's a respect thing. So they really shouldn't be bounced up out the top 10. But they have one loss, so they're being respectful this year. You have Oregon State, a team that's under the radar, very slept on. They're number 14 right now. You got Ole Miss, who is lurking, and they got Alabama coming up this weekend. That one right there is a trap spot for a lot of people because I know they feel like Ole Miss is going to go up in there and absolutely wreck Alabama, but it just necessarily does not work like that. Let's keep it real. Alabama, when they got some motivation, they play at their absolute best, but they're going to have to figure out that quarterback situation. That's why Ole Miss may be coming in here as possibly a slight favorite, or this game will be closer than it usually is with the spread on Alabama this weekend. Oklahoma is just kind of going through the motions right now. They're number 16. North Carolina surprised me. I was heavy on Minnesota getting an upset win, and Minnesota wound up losing that game, and they got absolutely crushed too. So North Carolina is showing that it's real. Old rival Duke is right behind them at number 18. Colorado falls a spot after a close call with Colorado State, a team that they were supposed to beat by 25 points or better, and that did not happen. And I know that line was absolutely stupid because we know that Colorado hasn't warranted the right to be a team that can beat you by 30 points or better. They haven't beat anybody by 30 points or better. So if you were a bettor who took Colorado on Saturday, you must have just started betting because literally they told you to take Colorado State. And what happens? Colorado State loses a game by 8 points. They absolutely saved so many low-end books who had so many people believing in the Colorado Buffaloes to win by 25 or better. And you know what? You can't do that with the team that's ranked as the last place team coming into the damn conference. You know what I mean? They're only rated to win 3.5 games this year. Yeah, they're going to go over that, but I still don't see this team with an above 500 record. They're probably going to lose their next 3 games as well, too. I'm not hating. It's just the reality of the situation. Their best player has a cracked rib. Their quarterback is starting to kind of get figured out a little bit by the better teams. He got figured out just a tad by Colorado State, but the better teams are not going to let him get his stats. So this is probably the best time to jump off the Colorado bandwagon. Okay. I like them. I want them to keep winning football games. I want them to keep going and going at it and do all the great things, but I'm being realistic, dude. Like at the same time, too. You got Miami, who's back in the mix. They're number 20 in the nation. I think they could be a little bit higher after doing what they did to Texas A&M. Washington State, a quiet team, but this is why Colorado State was able to hang with Colorado, because Washington State was their first opponent of the season, and Washington State's a much better team than Colorado. UCLA is number 22, so that gives us 5 teams from the Pac-12 in the top 25, and you see all the respect they're giving the Pac-12 in its final year as a conference. So that's crazy. And then you have Tennessee, number 23. They fell 12 spots after losing the rival Florida. Iowa is returned to the top 25 as the number 24 team in the nation. And then you got Florida. Of course, they will be in the top 25 after getting a win over a top 15 team and their rival in Tennessee the way that they did. So with that, that's going to be the top 25. And with that, we're going to go ahead and take us a commercial break. And when I get back, we're going to jump into some baseball. We got the MLB Pennant Race to talk about. We got Blue Crew Daily, and we have some MLB games to go over as well, too, and then talking tickets. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune into Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, here we are, the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles, with your boy, the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. And as you can see, the Dodgers do it again. Dodgers with another West title. And I know all the Dodger fans are very proud today, all that good stuff. I know my dad's looking down from above, very happy that his boys have done it again. And pretty much the Dodgers have won another series this season. That's just commonplace. And they captured the NL West title for the 11th time in 12 years. So the Dodgers have pretty much reached the status of and invincibility somewhat in the West. It's the Dodgers and the 4 little Chiefs. That's all it is. And the 4 little elves, or whatever you want to call it, the 4 little dwarves. It doesn't matter. It's like the Dodgers are the lead singer of a band, and there's no way that the other guys are going to be able to have their own lead songs. The Dodgers just go about their business year in and year out and just win this division. They've won this division in so many ways, where they've won the division by 1 game and where they've won the division by 30 games. The Dodgers are absolutely incredible when it comes to division play over the last decade, and it's just unmatched. I haven't seen a team with this type of run ever. You know what I mean? The Yankees wish they had a run going like this. The Cubs wish they had a run like this. The only other team that can say they had a run similar to this is the Braves. That's it. So the Dodgers really do play up to a standard, and it totally shows. Now they can focus in on the playoffs, all that good stuff. But the Dodgers don't care. The Dodgers know what time it is. They know that they have to keep going. They got to keep churning. They got to keep going about their business in the correct sense because they want to win the World Series. So you have to close these teams out. The Dodgers have realized in the month of September, we can't let up off the gas like that. We got to keep our momentum going because we don't want to get sidetracked. And you know what? They know that they could play spoiler this weekend. And what they did was they pretty much said that we're not letting anybody get to the playoffs on our back. And if they are going to get to the playoffs on our back, they're going to have to work for it. We're not going to sit up in here and lay down just because we just won the division title. No, because we are on to bigger things. And we have to use these games against the better teams as situations on how to beat them in a series. We can't sit up in here and say, well, let's go ahead and play all the guys that we just brought up from the farm so then we can get some guys some rest. These guys get rested twice a week. Okay, so that's why the Dodgers have put themselves in position to where nobody needs to have excessive rest anymore. These guys can just, if they're not hurt. Okay, so these guys are just playing baseball, going about their business, being great at doing that. And another thing is Jason Hayward is an absolute gem. And Jason Hayward can be the difference in the Dodgers winning a World Series and losing a World Series this year. Hopefully he stays healthy throughout these next few weeks and months. And the Dodgers have him as a vital asset on their run to a title. But it's gonna take a lot. We know that. Because getting through the regular season is one thing, but then when you get into the second season, that takes on a whole different mind of its own, and nothing is guaranteed. It don't matter if you won 120 games during the season. It's all about winning those 3 games or those 4 games and moving along. That's what it's all about. It's not about what you did during the regular season. It's about winning your series during the playoffs, and the Dodgers know that They know that. They know how this goes. They know how it works. They've been at the top of the mountain, and they've been where a lot of teams don't want to be, where you're out in the first round with several hundred expectations of winning a championship. So they truly are in a league of their own when it comes to winning division titles, but they know this is not the end goal. The end goal is to raise up the trophies with all the flags on it. So we will see if the Dodgers can get themselves in position to win a World Series. I know I talk about this at least once a week, but after winning this 11th title in the last 12 years, I'm not impressed anymore. I think that now it's time to think about getting the NL pennant and getting yourselves in the World Series. How can you only go to 3 World Series in this time? Answer that. 3 World Series in this time, and you've won 11 division titles. You got to do better. And the Dodgers know that, and Dodger fans know that. So with that, we move forward. Let's go ahead and talk about the MLB Pennant Race. And the MLB Pennant Race has gotten really, really, really fun because what's happening now is we have a lot of teams in place that are okay. And real quick, we do have some breaking news. Patrick Mahomes reworked his deal to get paid $210 million over the next 4 years. So that means he took a pay cut to make sure that they can keep signing players. So, you got some player-friendly deal and everything like that, but he got a lot of advertisements as well, too. So he doesn't have to really worry about the money so much. You know what I mean? Because he has all those sponsorships and all those investments that are going on and everything like that. So pretty much with that, that's going to be the update on Patrick Mahomes and his money. But let's get back to baseball. We got a great pennant race going on right now. Very close as well, too. The National League final spot for the wild card just gets more intense every weekend. It's crazy. It's so crazy because now the Cubbies find themselves as the team that could possibly miss the playoffs now. They're still in the wild card spot, but they are in a deadlock with Miami right now. and they own the tiebreaker. But the biggest problem with the Cubbies right now is the Cubbies have went back to their losing ways of the first 2 months of the season and have actually lost the last 8 out of 10 games. That's crucial because this team had a 3-game lead over the next team for the second wild card spot. Now they're sitting here in a deadlock with Miami, and they're only a half a game ahead of Cincinnati. And best behold, they have San Francisco on their tail as well, too, who are only 2 games behind. So this is a really, really murky situation. And by getting swept this weekend by Arizona, Arizona finds themselves a half a game ahead with the second wild card spot. And guess where Arizona was at 2 weeks ago? Arizona was behind Cincinnati a few weeks ago, but they've put it together to the point to where when it comes down to winning the important games, the playoff type atmosphere games, they've taken care of their business. And I've told you guys that I really feel that Arizona is the team that you have to watch out for because they're young, dumb, and full of run. Because I'm telling you, they really don't understand how good they are this year. They are just going with the flow of things. And when you're chasing the Dodgers, it makes you that much better because you know that you're trying to get to a certain standard, which is on the level of consistent winning, just like that team. So they've pretty much copycatted the ways of winning for their team from the Dodgers, in my opinion. And that's why they've been able to do so well when it's time to turn it on. And that's absolutely incredible. But that's what we're dealing with right now. The Phillies are in good position right now with the number 1 wild card spot, but they're still 3.5 games ahead, and they're only 3 games ahead of Arizona. So who's the team who can't afford to lose at this point right now? I would say San Francisco. They've won their last 6 out of 10. They should be able to make some moves, but we'll see. Cincinnati, even in their last 10, they're 5-5. I think Cincinnati knows that they got ahead of themselves a little bit this year. They had a nice little boost when Delhi came up to boost up the anticipation for the next big Reds dynasty. They're thinking. I don't think that that's going to probably happen, but I think that it will wind up being a very good long-term situation for this team when it comes to winning the division and getting into the playoffs for the next 3 or 4 years. But right now, it's probably a little bit too early for them. And this could be some motivation going into next year to just go ahead and win the whole division because they know now that they're playing in one of the more wide open divisions and they have the best future out of the group as well, too. But the Dodgers, 5 games behind Atlanta right now for the top spot. Dodgers aren't too worried about that. You have Milwaukee, who's well ahead of the competition now. Milwaukee's not in the position that they were a month or so ago where they were only a half a game up or a game and a half up. They were able to turn away every single team but the Cubs, but the Cubs have played so bad lately, losing their last 5 in a row, that, you know, they've been able to stay ahead. They're 6.5 games ahead. It's going to be tough to catch the Brewers. The Brewers are right where they want to be. And you know what? They're sitting comfy at that third playoff spot. But they would have to deal with this team that gets in late. And will it be the Cubs? Will it be Miami? Will it be the Reds? Or will it be the Giants? They got a bunch of different options. But Milwaukee, to me, out the top 3 teams, they do loom the danger because they might have some of the best pitching in the group, if not the best pitching in the group, other than the studs that you have in Atlanta. And you know the Dodgers situation, they're dealing with injuries right now. But the Dodgers have an army of pitchers, so that's why they're still winning divisions and things like that. Now, let's talk about the American League a little bit. The American League is going the way that it pretty much is supposed to go, but we still have ourselves a race for the final spot between the Rangers and the Mariners. Now, you guys know on Friday, the Mariners were still in the playoffs. By Monday, they're a game out. The Rangers, big weekend this weekend, wound up dropping the ball. They got swept this weekend, but winning those 4 in a row were very helpful. Mariners losing 2 out of 3 wasn't helpful for them. So now they find themselves out of the playoff mix. Okay, we have Toronto back in the playoff mix. They're a half a game ahead of Texas. So this is a 3-way situation going on. And pretty much Seattle can jump back in, and Texas can still stick around as well too. But it's tough right now. These teams are separated by 1 game. And really, it's going to come down to the final week. But it's not good for Texas when they go and win 4 in a row, then lose 3 in a row. It's kind of been their second half of the season in a sense as well too. And we all know that it's going to be very sad that this team literally played themselves up to the first place spot the whole year and lost that lead to both Seattle. Then Seattle loses the lead to Houston, and Houston looks like they possibly will hold on. But Houston's only themselves 2 games ahead of the Rangers and 3 games ahead of the Mariners. So this is a tricky division that's going to get settled at the end of the month. So, man, it's exciting in baseball right now. We got a lot of good things going on with baseball right now. You saw the Orioles just got themselves back into the playoffs as well too. I told you guys exactly what the deal was with the Orioles early in the season. Now they've went ahead and they've went above and beyond even my expectations, and they're en route to possibly win this division as well too. They own the season series record over the Rays, who are also in the playoffs as well too. And this is absolutely incredible for 2 teams that they saw as middling more than the leaders of the house than, at the beginning of the year. I thought that they were 3rd and 4th, to be honest with you. And I thought 4 teams possibly get in from the division. But they've really went ahead and not worried about the Yankees. They haven't worried about the Red Sox or the Blue Jays. Toughest division in baseball, and it keeps just getting better and better by the week. But these 2 teams have really shined, and they've really played up to the standard of the division as well too. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into some games. We got some good baseball games to talk about. And up first, we have ourselves the Twins and the Reds. This is going to be a good one between 2 teams vying for playoff spots. As I already said, the Twins are in good shape. They've been able to separate themselves from the rest of the pack in their division. Cleveland was chasing them, but now they're 7 games ahead of Cleveland. They should be in good shape. They've won their last 6 out of 10. You got the Reds, who are coming off of a good weekend where they beat the Mets, and they haven't given up yet. That's one thing you can't say. They haven't given up yet. They have a 500 record as well too over their last 10, going 5-5. So tonight, the way I feel about this game is this: I feel like what happens in this game is going to be a very good matchup for the Reds tonight, because Joe Ryan is a really good pitcher, but it seems like the Twins struggle in opening games of series. And I feel like the Reds are going to be really good tonight. And I'm going to take them on the run line with the +1.5 here at home. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, so we have our next game that's coming up, and that's going to be this one right here. It's going to be a division matchup between the Marlins and the Mets, and I put this one up here because this is a very important game for the Marlins. And the Mets right now can go ahead and play spoiler. You know what I mean? Because the Mets, they're not that good right now. They got rid of most of the team, but still, they love to play spoiler for a division foe. They would love to keep a team like the Marlins out the playoffs and be a reason why this team missed the playoffs. I feel like tonight with Budo on the mound going against Cabrera, you pretty much got a 50-50 pitching matchup. And it's really going to come down to who is going to be cooking in the bullpen tonight. So pretty much the way I see this one setting up, the boys from Queens go down to Coral Gables, Miami Gardens, wherever the hell they play at, and they go down there and get the upset tonight. I'm taking them with the +130 money line as the Bet Us MLB dog of the day. So there it is. Dog of the day will be the Mets, who are 69-80 with the +130 going into that game. So There it is. There it is. We move forward and we have ourselves pretty much the game of the night. And this one actually is a client play. So if you are interested, you guys can DM me on the Twitter at PopDiBiase, or you guys can hit me up on Instagram at DiBiaseWave_ to sign up to be an exclusive client for the Primetime Sports Investors. And also, we do have the PTSI IG page as well, too. So you guys can hit me directly. You'll be talking to me, not a bot, not an assistant, not any of that. You'll talk directly to me, and we'll get you set up on getting these plays for the rest of the year. Now, we got the Orioles coming in here 93-56. They have themselves a 9-game lead over the Astros. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? Everybody thought the Astros would be the number one team in the American League again. They would be killing it, doing big numbers like they usually do, and they had to seriously come all the way from nowheres, damn near. They have been with the group all year, but there were points in time where you like, are the Astros regressing? And right when they need to win, that's when they start winning. This is what separates the great teams from the good teams from the bad teams. And the Astros are one of the great teams. Who are the Orioles? Who are they trying to be? It seems like now they're one of the good teams. But can they excel to being one of the great teams? That's a big question. Tonight will be a very telling tale of what to expect for a possible future series between these two teams as well, too. Because now the Astros have to take the Orioles seriously. First of the year when they played each other, I went crazy when this game came up because I was able to bet it up on the Orioles, go crazy on the Orioles, and the Orioles did exactly what they were supposed to do. Now you see the Orioles in position as the best team in the American League today. So now they got the Astros chasing them. So this is a different game now. So the Astros will play up to it. Will the Orioles keep their momentum going? That's the biggest question. But this should be a great game tonight. I look forward to it, and this is the series of the week. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take our final commercial break, and when I get back, we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into Talking Tickets. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, we're back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. So let's go ahead and jump into Talking Tickets. Talking Tickets, my favorite subject, your favorite subject. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So pretty much with that, let's go ahead and up first we have ourselves the MLB Series Bets for this week. And this week with the Series Bets, we got the Reds plus 130 and a must-win series for them. We got the Mets trying to play spoiler against the Marlins in a plus 165. We have the Nats in a very under-the-radar, who cares about this series against the Pirates. I like the Nats, though, with the minus 115. We got the Phillies and the Braves. The Braves are on rest mode right now, so they just lost yesterday 16-2. So I don't know. This team is really worried about getting their rest and not winning too many games. They're already solidified to be the best record in all of baseball already pretty much locked down the NL home field advantage as well too, and the bye, with the Dodgers. So what are they really playing for? To keep things fine-tuned, things like that, but you don't want to do too much. So I feel like the Phillies, who are trying to hold off the world in their wild card spot, will play this one like it's already the playoffs. So I feel like the plus 160 is a very, very strong bet here. Then we got the Rangers in their series. The Rangers are playing against the Red Sox. The Red Sox might have thrown up the white flag this weekend. They did get swept by the Blue Jays. So there's really no faith in them for me anymore, because I had the Red Sox lined up to win the division. I thought they were going to go on a nice run to end the year, but that never came to fruition. They wound up firing their general manager last week, so it should tell you exactly where the Red Sox stand at. So I'm taking the Rangers with the minus 175. And I'm betting against the Orioles in the series this week. I think that the Astros come in here and absolutely send a message to the Orioles and telling them that it's levels to this, and that's great that you're having a good season right now, but you're going to have to see us soon, bud, and this is just a preview. So I do like the Astros minus 155. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. We have ourselves the primetime pick 6, 57-1. I like the Reds tonight with the plus 1.5. The Mets money line plus 130. We're going to do the under 9 with the White Sox and the Nats. And then we have the Phillies money line minus 115. And we also have the over 8.5 with the Reds and the Red Sox and the Rangers. So this one will wind up being a pretty good one as well too for us, because we finish it up with the Mariners minus 1.5 in Oakland tonight. Hopefully they don't let the fact that they're going against the worst team in baseball distract them from keeping up with the rest of the group to ensure they make the playoffs. So with that will be a wrap for our baseball for tonight and for our series bets until Thursday or Friday. Yeah, Friday. Yeah, Friday. So let's go ahead and jump into our Monday Night Football bets. And up first, we got the Monday Night Football ESPN bets. And we got the under 39.5 as the full game bet. The Panthers first half money line plus 125 as the halftime bet. I feel like the Saints are going to get out to a early lead, so I'm taking them with the plus 125 first quarter, half a point. Then we also have the Saints under 20.5. I feel like the Saints will probably start fast early and then slow it down and be slowed down for the rest of the game. And then the Panthers. I feel like the Panthers absolutely crush it in this game tonight. I got the minus 1 on the alternate line tonight, and I'm taking the plus 140. So I know that's like, damn, Pop, you might as well take the money line and win. But if you take the plus 140 with the minus 1, it makes it that much more funner, because you say to yourself that, you know what, if we lose by 1, hey, if I lose, if they win by 1, the Panthers, at the end of the day, we get a push. You know what I mean? But if you bet money line, you'll just cash the ticket. But let's have some fun. You know what I mean? That's what I'm on. Let's have some fun. So there it is. There it is. And we have the ABC bets. And I know you guys are looking at this and like, man, you're going absolutely crazy tonight. But I don't care. The Browns minus 2, the over 19.5 first half, the Browns money line first quarter minus 125, the Browns over 20.5 points. Of course, I'm going to take over 20.5 points. The Steelers gave 30 last week to San Francisco, who kind of runs a similar offense to the Browns. And then we have the Browns 4.5 alternate line plus 150. So I'm thinking the Browns can win this game by a touchdown or better. And those are going to be my Monday Night Football bets for today. So with that, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys are the absolute best. There is no me without you. And man, it's going to be a great day of Monday Night Football. We got double hitters and all that good stuff. So I'll make sure when we have the show tomorrow, that's what we'll be talking about, with some college football as well too. And then we got some baseball to talk about as well too moving forward. And that should be that. And already know we got tickets to talk about as well too. We always got to talk about them dollars. And also tomorrow we're gonna have NFL Bet Exchange. Me and Jeff will be right in your face at 10 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time, to go over every single game for week 3 and to give our analysts real quick of week 2. So with that, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in once again today. And this is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. And as I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.